Hello archers, it's Knockdraw here. Today I'll show you how to make some amazing arrows. To make your own arrows you need several components. You need arrow shafts, tips and inserts, fletchings, nocks, some glue and a fletching jig to make your life easier. First, for the shafts, I got a set of 12 carbon fiber shafts. They are in the common 6.2mm inner diameter, the length is 31 inches and they have a 600 spine. The cool thing about the shafts is that the carbon is actually painted. It has this really nice looking wood pattern. Compared to the usual black or dark grey carbon, this is a really nice change and it makes the arrows look primal, as if they're made out of real wood. Combined with the simple fletchings that I chose, the finished arrows look really nice and clean, as you will see in a bit. I got the shafts from AliExpress for around 26 euro. There were many other available spines and sets of 6 or 12. The build quality is really nice, the shafts are all identical in weight, they are all straight without any cracks or other damage, even though the packaging was just a simple cardboard box with no extra cushioning or protection. The delivery time was quick, exactly as advertised, but as always, your results may vary depending on your location. For the tips and the tip inserts, I initially went on AliExpress as well, but as you see, the inserts turned out to be really bad. For some reason, almost none of the tips could be screwed into the inserts. I tried all 12 of the tips on all of the inserts and only 2 fitted properly. The good thing is, I noticed this before actually gluing the inserts into the shafts, so always check if all parts fit before you actually assemble your arrows. I didn't want to deal with the hassle of returning them and they cost only 6 euro, so I'll be using the tips probably. I might try to fix the inserts, but they might also go in the trash. Another issue with the inserts as well is that although they should fit the standard arrow shafts, they turned out to have a small little bump, which is really annoying because it makes pulling arrows out of your targets a bit more difficult and they also cut through your target more. I gave up and bought some Avalon bullet style tips and inserts from a local shop for 10 euro. As you can see, they fit together nice and smooth without any issues. Additionally, the inserts are absolutely flat with the shafts, so no bump to reduce your target's lifespan. For the fletchings, I got a pack of 50 white 4-inch real-life turkey feathers in the parabolic shape. These are also from AliExpress for around 10 euro. I intentionally didn't get any other color, I wanted to keep them simple, and also with the style of shooting that I'm practicing, you don't really need a knot feather. For the nocks, I bought 12 Vermeil X nocks once again from a local shop. They go for around 9 euro, they're absolutely amazing, really easy and quick to knock due to the little indents, so I highly recommend them, but of course this is personal preference. Now the main item for fletching arrows is a fletching jig. Although you can probably do it by hand, having a jig makes it way easier. It's basically a tool that helps you glue the fletchings to the center of the arrow shafts consistently, and most important, helps you rotate the shafts the perfect degree so that each fletching is right where it should be. I went with the Magneto fletching jig by Avalon. I bought it from a local shop for 25 euro. Inside the box you get a pamphlet with some basic instructions on how to set it up and use it, but I will cover that in a bit. You get the jig, which consists of a base and a clamp. You also get a couple of Allen keys to adjust the jig, and for some reason you also get one of the common metal knocking points. The jig is all made of metal, so it's quite sturdy. You can even mount it to a table if you wish. The magnets that hold the clamp are really strong, almost a bit annoying, but hey, it's in the name, Magneto. The clamp itself is very tight and also made of metal, and that's great because once it accumulated some glue, I was able to just scrape it off with a knife without any damage to the clamp. Finally, for gluing the fletchings, I picked up this Loctite Power Gel. It's an instant glue that actually is a bit rubbery, has a bit of flex to it, and it's good to glue things that might be under some kind of impact. It's very cheap, around 3 euro, compared to the branded fletching glue. At the same time, it's strong and quick to dry. The only downside of it, which honestly is probably my mistake, is that it left a little bit of residue after the first couple of arrows, but that might be me putting too much glue on the fletching, so less is more. Before we move on to the fletching process, I have to mention that unfortunately the Vermeil X nocks do not fit well on the Magneto jig, so I had to swap it for a standard nock just while fletching. The important part here is to measure the distance between the nock groove and the end of the fletching so that you have the proper distance between the nock and the fletching on your arrow. As you can see, the standard nock is a bit shorter than the X nock, so I had to take this into account, otherwise the nock and the fletching will be too close. Once you decide what the exact desired position of the fletching would be, it's a good trick to use a pen marker and draw a couple of dots where the start and the end of the fletching should be on the clamp. The first step is to set up the fletching jig. The base that you attach the clamp to might not be aligned to the center of your arrow shafts out of the box. We can center it properly by adjusting the 2 screws on each side of the base. I adjusted mine to just a little bit after the second mark, but this depends on the diameter of the arrow shafts that you use. So once we adjust the clamp position to the center of the arrows, we are ready to start fletching. First, we knock an arrow shaft on the jig, then we take the clamp off the jig, open it, place a new fletching in and check if both ends of the fletching match our pen marker indicators that we made earlier. Once that's done, we can put some glue on the base of the fletching. As I said, less is more, but we do want them to stick tightly. Then we put the clamp on the base of the jig and slowly but steadily push it towards the arrow. Once it's fully on the arrow, push it a bit more to ensure it's tight and leave it for a couple of minutes to dry. After a couple of minutes, open up the clamp and there we have it, our first fletching is on the arrow. For the second fletching, we just need to rotate the knob on the base of the jig, which in turn will rotate the arrow shaft. Keep in mind there is another knob on the side which locks the rotation, so you might need to loosen that first. Once you rotate the main knob and you hear and feel a strong click, you know that the arrow is properly positioned for the next fletching. Then we repeat the exact same steps as for the first fletching. Take the clamp, put a new fletching, add glue and push it onto the arrow shaft. We give it another couple of minutes to dry and we can just rotate the main knob even without removing the arrow. As you can see, we have our first arrow fully fletched. There is a bit of glue residue from putting too much glue, but I will clean that later with a knife. Next, we put some glue on an insert and push it into the arrow shaft. A nice gift that I got with the arrow shafts is a piece of shrink tube. It's used to protect the front end of your fletchings because when your arrow goes deep or through a target, this is the part of the fletching that takes the most damage. Just use a lighter to heat it up and it shrinks around the fletchings. Next we add the knock and we have our first arrow fully assembled. Now repeat 11 more times and you'll have a dozen amazing arrows. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, stay on target and I'll see you in the next one.